read this letter to Nick?
Of course. I'm so happy we're together again, sis. I missed you so much. Mwah.
Me too. Can I stay here as long as I want?
No.
Think the golden age of sitcoms was flawless? Think again. Hidden among the hits of the 70s and 80s are shows so infamous they've become legends for all the wrong reasons. In this countdown, we'll revisit 10 of the biggest television misfires. Spin-offs that sank beloved characters, high-concept ideas gone haywire, and comebacks that proved you can't go home again. These shows are terrible, fascinating, and packed with lessons for storytellers. Ready to cringe and learn at the same time? Let's dive in.
Surprise! Pop, what is this? It's a piano. Don't you know anything about music?
If you loved Different Strokes, NBC thought you'd follow one of its peripheral characters into his own show. McLean Stevenson plays Larry Adler, a talk radio host who moves his teenage daughters to Portland. It sounds like a family fish-out-of-water story, but the jokes were flat and the chemistry non-existent. Viewers tuned out fast, and Hello Larry became a euphemism for a bad spin-off. TV Guide later cemented its status by ranking it among television's worst. The lesson? Don't trade a charismatic ensemble for cardboard cutouts.
What's the point? Every time we throw the ball in the basket, it just falls out the bottom. No-win situation, man.
Happy Days owned Tuesday nights, so giving its adorable couple their own show seemed obvious. Unfortunately, Joanie and Chachi left Milwaukee for Chicago, and their charm didn't make the trip. Each episode followed their quest for music stardom amid recycled romance plots. Critics mocked the duo's syrupy ballads, ratings dropped, and the pair returned to Happy Days for an on-screen wedding. It's a reminder that sometimes side characters sparkle best when they stay in the background.
If you don't tell me what the problem is, you're gonna lose your pretty little head.
No, Mary.
After 8 seasons of innuendo and misunderstandings, Three's Company ended on a cliffhanger that served as the pilot for its spin-off. Jack Tripper meets Vicky, falls in love, and moves out, leaving his roommates behind. Suddenly, the Three's Company dynamic is gone, replaced by a conventional couple living with an overbearing father downstairs. Fans felt blindsided. Rolling Stone called it the franchise's low point. Without the racy premise that drew viewers, Three's a crowd folded after 1 season. Change the formula too much, and the magic disappears.
Spilling your milk all down your front.
I have a leak in my chin.
Sometimes great shows spin off characters who don't deserve the spotlight. On Cheers, Nick Tortelli was Carla's philandering ex, hilarious in small doses. NBC moved him to Las Vegas with Loretta and focused on his sleazy schemes. Audiences recoiled from spending half an hour with such an unlikable character. Even cameos from Carla and Norm couldn't salvage it. NBC pulled the plug after 13 episodes. Lesson learned, the punchline shouldn't become the protagonist.
But what makes you so sure it was the Loch Ness Monster? When it roared, it was in Scottish.
After her controversial departure from Three's Company, Suzanne Summers returned as Hildy Granger, a widowed mom appointed sheriff in a Nevada town. A woman taking charge of law enforcement sounded forward-thinking, but the execution was pure corn. Collider's ranking of bad sitcoms notes that the writing was cheesy and the tone embarrassing. Produced for first-run syndication, the show aired on scattered stations and lacked the quality control of a network series. Although it lasted 2 seasons, it's remembered more for its cringeworthy theme song than its storytelling. The show demonstrates how a promising concept can be undermined by weak scripts and low production values.
They're little insects that eat plants, and they go...
Lucy Ball remains one of television's most beloved comedians, so when ABC announced her return at age 75, expectations were immense. Life with Lucy cast her as Lucy Barker, a grandmother who inherits half a hardware store co-owned by her son-in-law. Reuniting Ball with her longtime co-star Gail Gordon, the series tried to recapture the physical comedy of I Love Lucy. However, the slapstick felt dated and uncomfortable. Critics described it as embarrassing and even sad. Ratings plummeted after a curiosity-filled premiere, and ABC cancelled the show after airing only 8 of 13 produced episodes. The failure highlights how difficult it can be for legendary performers to recreate past magic decades later.
I wish I had a brother. I'd even settle for a sister.
Well, maybe one of these days you'll have one.
That's what you keep saying, but I don't think you're really working on it.
One of the strangest hits of the era, Small Wonder followed robotics engineer Ted Lawson, who secretly builds an android child named Vicky, short for Voice Input Child Identicant. Vicky is played by a human actress who delivers lines in a monotone and takes everything literally. The gimmick produced jokes about misunderstandings and hidden superpowers, but it also creeped out many viewers. Mental Floss points out that the series is often listed among television's worst shows. Remarkably, the show ran for 4 seasons in syndication because it was cheap to produce and appealed to children fascinated by robots. Its legacy is a mix of cult fascination and ridicule.
Sir, you're doing surgery this morning, and Elma Cox, star of Stage Screen and Venom, wants these first thing.
Alma sucks eggs.
By the dozen.
Trying to follow up one of the most acclaimed series in TV history was always going to be risky. AfterMASH picked up 6 months after the Korean War, reuniting Colonel Potter, Klinger, and Father Mulcahy at a veterans hospital in Missouri. The original MASH succeeded by balancing humor with the grim realities of war. This sequel struggled to find a similar tone. Co-creator Larry Gelbart later said the show lacked a strong main character and should have leaned more heavily into drama. Audience curiosity gave the premiere a ratings boost, but viewership quickly eroded. CBS shortened the 2nd season, and the show quietly disappeared. It serves as a lesson that lightning rarely strikes twice in the same place.
You are so handsome.
Oh, you just get turned on by my sexy round eyes.
Oh, brother.
In the late 1970s, NBC executives thought they could import the success of Japanese pop stars Pink Lady to America. The duo, Mia and Kei, had a global hit single, but there was one problem: they spoke almost no English. To bridge the gap, comedian Jeff Altman was brought in as co-host and translator. The resulting variety show combined disco-influenced musical numbers with awkward sketches where Altman mugged for the camera while the singers delivered scripted lines phonetically. AV Club writer Nathan Rabin dubbed it an unpalatable combination. The show's bizarre vibe and cultural disconnect led to its cancellation after 6 episodes. Today it's remembered as one of the strangest experiments in variety television.
Soar like an eagle. Swoop like a hawk. Wallow like a pig.
For our final entry, we look at the show that attempted to flip the concept of Three's Company. 2 bachelors share a New York apartment and hire an attractive live-in maid named Mickey to help with the rent. Week after week, the men vie for her attention while trying to keep the arrangement secret from their landlord and girlfriends. Critics said the series copied the innuendo of Three's Company without its charm. Nostalgia Central observed that it had all the vulgarity but none of the wit. NBC cancelled it after 1 season, but a syndication revival with a mostly new cast only reinforced its reputation as one of the worst TV comedies. The show proved that reversing genders is not a substitute for clever writing. These 10 sitcoms prove that there's no guaranteed formula for success. A built-in audience or iconic star does not guarantee quality. Scripts, tone, and chemistry matter most. Spin-offs can tarnish beloved characters if they remove the very elements that made the original work. Novelty, whether it's a robot child or a language barrier variety show, wears thin without compelling stories to anchor it. Finally, representation and progressiveness require care. Audiences reject caricatures and cliché. These flops stand alongside the classics as reminders of television's experimental nature. For every hit that becomes an enduring part of pop culture, there are misfires that vanish into trivia. But even those misfires contribute to the evolving art of making people laugh.